No, just joking. No, I'm just joking. Are we good? Okay. All right, folks, good evening, and we're on time, which is great. Welcome to the 81st meeting of the 13th elected Town Council of Happy Valley-Goose Bay. It's our regular public meeting for July. We are joined on the phone by Councillor Compton Hobbs this evening. We have no delegations that have registered, so we're going to move right into the agenda. The agenda is before you. I would ask for a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Pomeroy, seconded by Deputy Mayor, look one way, Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any discussion, the agenda? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary-minded?
Aye.
Passed.
Aye.
Okay, can we turn her up?
Yeah, turn it down since it was too loud now.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Compton Hobbs. Okay, so we've accepted the agenda. There are no delegations. We're going to the adoption of the previous minutes from the 80th meeting that was held on June 24th. The minutes have been circulated, so I'll entertain a motion to accept them as they've been presented. Moved by Councillor Brumfield, seconded by the Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Okay, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
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 Contrary-minded? Passed. Correspondence. We have I guess we have two pieces, really. One is from the Arthritis Society of Canada, and September is Arthritis Month in Canada. So be advised of that. The second one is a Safe and Sound Communities, Province of Newfoundland and Labrador. A Safe and Sound Community Rally is being suggested by the Guardians of Recovery Foundation, and I think we'll talk about that maybe in finance in a minute. Would that be okay? Or what do we want to do with this?
Probably Councillor Forum.
Councillor's forum? Okay, that's what we'll do. All right, so that's the correspondence. So we'll move right into finance committee reports, finance, admin, and policy, and the floor is yours, sir.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you,
Brumfield.
Your Worship. Okay, the financial administration policy, we met as part of the committee of the whole, which was held on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Our agenda was, our new business was an accessibility plan's terms of reference, the Labrador Grenfell Health Authority annual golf tournament, and we have a letter dealing with a delinquent accounts and an auction sale. We have an information item dealing with interest from CIBC, and we just discussed the accounts receivable balance for 2024. Okay, so under the accessibility plan's terms of reference, the Accessibility Plan Committee provides info and advice to Council and ensuring we are compliant with the Provincial Accessibility Act of Bill 38, which was an act respecting accessibility in the province and was passed on December the 3rd, 2021. This act suggests a standard composite committee, which will be persons with disabilities or organizations reps and representatives of organizations and bodies affected by standards being developed, and representatives from various departments that are affected by this. And there will be a recommendation is coming up for this one. And this one here really is just to get it started. And like I said, it's always hard to get something started. If there's anything needs to be changed, it'll be easier for following councils to adjust it as needed be. Okay, so that was that item. The next item was the annual Labrador Grenfell Health Authority annual golf tournament. The town has always participated in this tournament for at least 15 years or more. It does provide lots of benefits to the community, the various clinics in Labrador on the coast and here in Happy Valley-Goose Bay. So there will be a recommendation that we support a team for this very worthwhile cause. And again, like the next one, there was just a letter from a concerned resident about an auction sale, but we won't go into the details because our lawyers are discussing that one. We have basically an information item from MNL, which is Municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, dealing with clients who have access, I guess, to CIBC, and if they want to use GICs. But we don't have CIBC here in Goose Bay. We also use any extra monies we'll put into GICs and so forth, right? And our last item we discussed was really an information item, really, because there's nothing coming out of it, but was the accounts receivable balance for 2024. It's getting quite high, and like, obviously the reasons are many, but one of the banks in town no longer pay their mortgages interest or their taxes, so that's a big part of the reason why. So we've basically directed staff to start following the policy manual, dealing with water shut off and collections, so that they can start collecting these outstanding taxes. And that was it for this here committee meeting.
Okay, so it's moved by Councillor Brumfield that we accept the Finance and Min Policy Committee as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion?
Mayor, I was just wondering, has there been any movement, to collecting the taxes? Because we asked that there be action taken right away. I don't know if anything's been done or not since.
We did receive an email with an update. So,
Presuming there was.
yeah, so I'm assuming, and the Director of Finance is not here. Ask the CAO, she's just back, so I don't know if you got down to. Has there been any movement in terms of our discussions about tightening up the accounts receivable?
Yeah, yesterday and today, actually, I spent some time reviewing hundreds of letters that have been drafted that does require some revision, both from my recommendations and from municipal affairs advice as well. And they will be going out tomorrow, but there are several hundred that have been drafted.
Okay, that's good. That answer your question, Councillor Campbell-Hobbs?
Yeah, I think we talked about water shutoffs as well.
I'm not sure what the content of the letters are.
That is
Yeah.
for
That is for
water
water shutoffs, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Deputy Mayor, and then I'll go down.
Oh, yes. Go
You
ahead,
go ahead.
yeah, thank you. Are you saying there's 700 letters?
Several.
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 Hundred, yeah, not
My eyes
700.
went really big. You notice I looked up? Gotcha.
Even several hundred is too many.
Yeah,
And,
it's a very thick stack of letters that have been identified.
Okay.
yeah,
But historically, we've always run a high accounts receivable balance.
Yeah.
Which, is for some reasons, but, taxes from last year are current still this year. But I mean, it's like, it's a lot of money,
Yeah.
especially if it's a couple of $1 million, it's even more than that now. I think there should be some really aggressive measures taken to collect it, because I mean, that money's gotta come from somewhere. Either we gotta borrow it to run the town until we get it, or we don't spend money.
Yeah.
We don't do projects, we don't do whatever. Did you have
yeah, I
anything
mean, I agree, Mayor. I mean, there should be zero tolerance for some of these. And they've been going on for too long, and we keep talking about them month after month, year after year.
Yep.
And eventually, as council knows, time kind of takes care of it, because people, the statute of limitations runs out, and they don't pay their taxes, and then the community suffers overall. And then we're, as council, not this council, council in general, are forced to make decisions that sometimes are not popular with the community because we have to raise taxes.
My biggest thing is that, if we're sitting on $3 million of accounts receivable, if
Yeah.
you were to take that $3 million and then
Put
put
it
it
in
out to a
GIC.
30, 70, or 50/50 project,
A lot of stuff.
that's an awful lot of work that could be done in our community.
Yeah.
We have people that are paying their taxes regularly, and we have, folks that make monthly payments, and, we'll bend over backwards to help anybody, and work with anybody, but just to sit and not pay is just not acceptable.
And it's really, you're right, it's not acceptable. And, I mean, we have business people in this community that are taking advantage of it, and owe the town several hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I think further to what the mayor just said, when you said there are people who are making monthly payments, the fact that the town is willing to work with people, that we've always said, and I think it's been reported, that, if you need to make a payment arrangement, come in and make it's not like the town hasn't been willing to work with people. So if somebody's sitting at home and saying, oh my God, I don't have $2,000 right now to pay my town tax bill. I mean, we have online payment systems where you can, you know, pay monthly, and I don't think that people are taking advantage of the arrangements that could be made, and, you know,
No, I agree. And
accommodations.
people, you know, those people are, most people that set up arrangements with generally pay on time.
Yep.
But then there are others who come in to make arrangements, make one payment, and then 6 months later, or come November, when we kind of shut the water off, they stop making payments again.
Well,
And
like I said,
come the
Yeah.
spring, that's the only option we got, is to shut the water off, and here we are, heading into August, and I don't know if there's any water been shut off yet.
well, there's a long process too, right? That
Yeah.
we can't do it like,
Maybe
you
for
know.
our community, for
Yeah.
other communities, it's
But
not
we,
so long.
we should be. I think that, you know, I mean, I don't buy the financial institution stopped doing mortgages. My financial institution, stopped doing it, but, they set up another process, so I mean, there's really no excuse outside the fact that, you know, we have a high accounts receivable balance and we're addressing it. Okay, any other discussion on that? All right,
Vote on the report.
vote on the report. No, any other discussion is what I was trying to say, sorry. Okay, none heard? All right, all those in favor indicate with aye.
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 Contrary-minded? Pass. And you have
I have two
two
recommendations.
recommendations.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Okay, the first recommendation, Finance and Administration and Policy Committee, the accessibility plan terms of reference. Finance Administration and Policy Committee recommends that council accept the accessibility plan's terms of reference as enclosed in council package.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Brumfield in the FAP committee that council accept, and I guess adopt, accept, I guess is the right word, the accessibility plan's terms of reference that has been presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Passed. Next recommendation, please.
Okay, the next one is the Labrador-Grenfell Health Foundation Annual Charity Golf Tournament. The Finance, Administration, and Policy Committee recommends that council approve a donation in the amount of $600 to enter a town team to participate in the Labrador-Grenfell Health Foundation Annual Charity Golf Tournament scheduled for Thursday, September 11th, 2025.
Okay, moved by Councillor Brumfield and the FAP committee that council recommend a donation in the amount of $600 to enter a town team into the Grenfell Health Foundation Annual Charity Golf Tournament.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Point of order?
Yes. May I,
I'll second that.
No, just 1 second now, there's a point of order.
I have to
David,
declare a conflict of interest with that and refrain from being part of the vote.
Okay, well, yeah. So Deputy Mayor's, and reason?
My husband's with LG
Ah,
Health
okay.
Foundation.
The Deputy Mayor's declared conflict because her spouse is, her partner is an employee of the Grenfell Foundation. So she's declaring conflict, so the minutes indicate that she's left the discussion around the table. All right, so the motion has been made, seconded by Councillor Compton Hobbs. Discussion? Okay, just on this one, does this need to come to council if we've been doing it for 20
It's
years?
over $500, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha, that's the problem, right. Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
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 Contrary-minded, passed.
There is
Deputy Mayor.
another one here on the last page, which is an additional one for me.
Okay, well, give it to us.
Okay?
So,
This one here deals with delegation of authority. The Finance, Administration, and Policy Committee recommends that council approve a delegation of authority for Randy Dillon, Director of Engineering, to authorize change of orders to the greater of $15,000 or 10% of the contract amount in accordance with the Public Procurement Act.
Okay, it's moved by Councillor Brumfield and the FAP committee that council approve is it an increase or has he hadn't had it?
Never had.
Okay, so approve delegation of authority for Randy Dillon, Director of Engineering, to authorize change orders to the greater of $15,000 or 10% of the contract amount in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. Seconded by?
Sorry.
But, okay, Councillor Rumble. Discussion. CAO.
I'd just like to say the purpose for this is without this delegation of authority, any change order, no matter how small, would have to come to council for decision at a public meeting to be approved before the work could proceed.
Okay, my question on that was when I was reading it here, to the greater of 15,000 or 10%. If we had a $10 million contract, that would be a $100,000 change order.
Or 1.5,
That would not have to come,
or 1.5 million.
yes, 1.5 million, that
million.
would not have to come back to council?
Correct. For a change order.
It's just a change on an existing contract.
But it's
Yeah,
just a
that council has
$1.5 million increase.
Yeah, but that's
Well,
right.
you gotta have the money there.
I think
It's-
the monetary amount's important to have
Yeah.
a max of prior to coming.
So does the Procurement Act, is that what the Procurement Act, or does it just go along with what the authority can be delegated? Are the amounts in the Procurement Act?
Yes, Mayor, the Procurement Act states you can have an upper limit or you can have no monetary limit. The percentage was included
Just to protect,
to
yeah.
probably reduce the authority to a limit of 10%, but there is an option there for no monetary limit. I think this puts a reasonable limit on the authority.
Councillor Brumfield?
I have a suggestion there on that one, if we made a friendly amendment, which would be greater of $15,000 or 10% of the contract up to a maximum of $150,000.
Yeah.
There you go. So friendly amendment, you made it.
So that, wouldn't that take away from the spirit of the original motion?
No, not at all. Because what we're doing is just
Gives them a bottom line.
we're adjusting the financial amount, 10%. The intent of the motion is to put limits in terms of,
Yeah.
right?
Well, right here, we're saying 10% of the contract amount, so we're limiting it to 150,000, that's it.
Yes,
Before coming back to us for change
15%
orders.
or 100,000.
So anything
10%.
above 150,000 would come back to council for
Yes.
approval? Is that what you're
yes,
suggesting?
no matter what the value of the contract is, whether it's 10 million or 30
I think
million.
I think that's,
Is that
Yeah, I'm okay
reasonable?
with that, yeah.
well, I mean, to start, if we find that it's creating problems.
Cumbersome or,
But the only thing is, I wouldn't
Hindering.
want to come around the table and find out that, you know, we approved something that if there was a $2 million change,
Yeah, we did
that it
not.
wouldn't come back, even though I'm sure it would, but you don't know for sure, right?
Well, that's what up
This
to
puts
max
that- yeah.
150,000
Yeah.
caps it.
Okay. You seconded, are you in agreement with that? Okay. Is everybody else okay with that? Are you okay with that? Or is it-
No,
Yeah.
that's fine, Mayor, for sure.
I'm good with it.
Okay, so, all right. So, any further discussion on that? So the motion will read 10% up to a maximum of 150,000
Yeah,
of the current amount, of the contract amount. Okay. All those in favor indicate with aye.
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 Contrary minded? Passed. That's it for your committee, sir?
that is it for me, so
Okay,
thank you.
we'll move on to community planning and development. And you're doing that one? Okay, Councillor Winters.
Thank you, Mayor. This is my first time doing this report for Community Plan Development, so please bear with me. Meeting took place at the Council of the Whole on July 13th, 2025. Just the manager's reports overview. Planning is the Director of Engineering's report, Randy Dillon. There were 8 compliance letters and 7 were served and closed. Action items, Spruce Meadow Farms, work is completed. Airbnbs, waiting on legal with regards to development regulations. Quarries, Director of Engineering, Dillon is working with his department with possibly placing a moratorium on cottages. Status is council has adopted an amendment to the development regulations and the town has forwarded to the province and has now been in place in the NL Gazette. The third lane at Mealy Mountain Collegiate, council met with Minister Dempster in January regarding a third lane at Mealy Mountain Collegiate to alleviate serious traffic issues. Council has received nothing to date. COO was directed to follow up with another letter to the Minister and Premier. Dilapidated buildings on Crown land. COO was requested to draft and send a letter to Minister outlining ongoing issues with regarding dilapidated buildings on Crown lands, and that the demolition should be the responsibility of Crown lands and the province and not the town. Manager's report from the Community Development Manager, Margaret Eligby. The CDM has been attending meetings, participating in webinars and in-person events, also performing other current duties associated with positions such as working on Public Transit Advisory Committee, Accessibility Planning Committee, Fireworks Survey, and her regular tasks, responding to inquiries, websites, Facebook updates, public service announcements, and updating e-billboard. There were, under Crown Lands applications, there was a Crown Land easement lease, 150130. Committee reviewed the budget, the briefing note and supporting documents and agreed to bring the recommendation forward to July Council. The second discussion at Council Hall was 2 Heffler Street. Director of Engineering advised that the application was received in 2024 for a residence, accessory building, and fence. There are issues surrounding the application. After discussion, direction was given to the Director of Engineering, Dillon, to consult with legal. New business and discussion. Letter from Randy Whitehorn, concerns over traffic. The Director of Public Safety, Butler, advised that the MEO met with Mr. Whitehorn and advised that the RCMP and inland fisheries will increase patrols. It was suggested that the town invest in flashing stop signs by Councilor Captain Hobbs.
Just a point of
That one's
order, I
supposed to
believe
be-
you were
yeah, was that
reading
supposed to be
protective
into
services.
Protective services?
It was under the,
It is.
okay, it must be, because, well, I just looked at it from the Council of the Whole minutes, and this was
Yeah,
under.
no, I think that discussion.
That one
is-
was under protective services.
Okay, what about record of complaint, same thing?
Yep,
Yeah.
same thing.
And fireworks survey,
Same
same
thing.
thing, scooters, fire breaks, okay,
That was
perfect.
all protective services.
Yeah, we
Right
got
on, I don't have to do all
Okay.
that every time.
Yep.
All right, following that, one recommendation follow, next meeting is Council of the Whole. Please report, accept report as presented.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Winters and CPD Committee that we accept the report for last month as presented. Seconded by Councillor Rumble. Discussion? Okay, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
I,
Contrary minded? Passed. You have one recommendation, sir?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Community Planning and Development, Crown Land easement application. The Community Planning and Development Committee recommends council apply to change the existing Crown Land easement lease 150130 into a license to occupy. Apply for an amendment to the license to occupy and accurately align with the constructed boardwalk, and apply for an amendment to the lease to occupy for 2 new paths requested by Birch Island Boardwalk Organization.
Okay, it's moved by,
Just, there's no such thing as a Birch Island Boardwalk organization, I don't believe, unless it's a new group that started up soon. I think we're referring to
Healthy
Healthy Waters
Waters.
Labrador there.
Yeah, it's helpful.
And I think the motion needs to be explained a little more in terms of, because it doesn't indicate that it's for the Birch Island
yeah, that's
Boardwalk or
one
anything
thing.
like that.
Before we get there, before we can even discuss it, it's gotta be seconded. So I'll ask for a seconder.
I'll second.
Okay, it's seconded by Councillor Rumble. Okay,
Yeah,
discussion now.
I think those
Yeah.
changes should be made.
One of the things, I think that anything that comes before us should have an address. So if we're talking about this kind of stuff, in this case it'd be Birch Island, but it could be a street, or
Yeah.
could be a house location, or it could be discretionary use, or at least, because then reading the minutes, nobody really knows until you get
Yeah,
down to.
anybody listening
until you
there
get
not
down to
have a
Birch
clue
Island
what we're
Boardwalk.
talking about, right?
Yeah, and I just think that, I think it's the Birch Island Boardwalk Organization. I don't think that's the name of the group. I don't think it should be.
It's Healthy Waters
Oh,
Labrador.
I think it, yeah. But is that the legal name? Healthy Waters?
Yeah,
Healthy Waters Labrador.
Labrador, okay.
Inc.
Yeah, Inc. Is it Inc? Yeah. Okay. So, are you okay with changing the recommendation to include that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And are you okay with that change to Councilor Rumble? Okay, all right. Okay, any further discussion? Yep, Councilor Rumble?
I'm not sure who it was said, but somebody said that there should be more information.
Yeah.
So I guess just from the briefing note, just for that point of information, is that Crown Lands noted that our existing easement lease does not match the constructed boardwalk. So we would need to amend the easement lease so that it matches the existing construction. So I guess that would be one purpose of it. So the option was provided to change the existing lease to a license to occupy, and then amend that license to include the additional sections, which I think was the more cost-effective, and from what I'm reading on the briefing note, the reason being it was more cost-effective,
Yeah.
easier, and just a simpler process.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a wordy, because it says to change it from a lease into a license to occupy, comma, apply for an amendment to the license to occupy, and the third part, to apply for an amendment to occupy for the 2 new paths. So it is a lot, but it's 3 things that will simplify everything in the end,
That's correct.
right?
And it's all related to Birchall,
Yes.
the boardwalk. You good with that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
I,
Contrary minded? Passed. That's it for you, sir?
That's it for.
All right. Let's move into protective services.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Protective Services Committee met as part of the Committee of the Whole on July the 8th. During the meeting, we discussed a letter that we had received from Mr. Randy Whitehorn regarding traffic safety at Markland Court Real intersection. Municipal Enforcement Officer met with Mr. Whitehorn, and we were advised that the RCMP would increase patrols in the area. There was some discussion on potential removal of the 4-way stop signs. However, Council was reminded that speeding remains a serious issue along this stretch of the road, and the stop signs were installed as a mitigation measure. I think the discussion was around removing 2 of the stop signs and having a right-of-way right through. There was also the possibility of, talked about the possibility of investing in some flashing stop signs, but it was also noted that there's a flashing light there currently. So I guess basically the concern reaffirms the fact that we have issues there, and the town is kind of limited in what we can do. It reaffirms our position as a committee, as a council, that the town should be granted authority for moving violations, and I'll just touch on that a little later. Following previous concerns about the effectiveness of the complaint process outlined in policy A0008 regarding the use of Access E11, the Director of Protective Services advised that Valley Communications, which is contracted as a call center for complaints for the town, they operate a 24-hour service for enforcement or animal control complaints. Complaints can be filed by calling 896-3322, and if the MEO or the animal control officer is off duty, complaints are logged and addressed upon their return. For emergency complaints outside enforcement or animal control hours, callers may contact the fire hall non-emergency line at 896-2212, where staff will notify the appropriate manager. There were some concerns as to whether or not mayor and or council should be required to follow this policy, given the fact that we serve as a conduit between the community and the town office, and residents reach out to us individually many times during normal course of a week or a month, and want us to act on their behalf and bring their concerns directly to the appropriate managers to have them addressed. Also, survey results related to firework regulations were reviewed. The Director of Protective Services noted the current absence of a fine structure for violations and recommended that the issue be addressed during the fall budgeting process. Council was asked to clarify its intentions regarding updates to a bylaw or regulations, and the committee requested that the Director of Protective Services prepare a briefing note and formal recommendation for today's meeting, but don't see anything in our package on that. There's been no updates provided on that since our committee of the whole. With respect to the use of electric scooters, the Director of Protective Services advised that he had consulted with transportation officials, and basically these are not defined under the Highway Traffic Act and very limited in what can be done about the use on streets within the community. As a result, municipalities lack legislative authority to enforce bylaws. Nevertheless, the committee agreed that public safety concerns warrant a proactive approach. The Director of Public Services was asked to draft and forward messaging for a public service announcement for distribution via the town social media channels. The committee also encouraged residents to reach out to other municipalities in the province for guidance or for information on this particular issue. And I don't believe there's an update on that either today. So I guess no PSA has been developed. There's been no movement on it since the committee of the whole. During the committee of the whole, we asked that a meeting be arranged with forestry, provincial forestry officials regarding fire breaks in and around the community. That meeting actually took place last week with Conservation Officer Chris Griffin of the Department of Fisheries, Forestry and Agriculture. In a nutshell, it was a pretty good meeting with more plans for discussions down the road, including reviewing aerial photos to better identify potential problem areas for fires. As well, during the meeting, we had asked that staff work with the provincial officials to prepare a public service announcement regarding the issue and to include information on fire prevention around residences in the community, and I don't believe that's been done either. It was also noted that the province is developing a funding program that would also allow municipalities to apply for fire break assistance. The committee emphasized the importance of ensuring that building permits are properly issued, adhered to, and visibly posted on relevant properties. It was noted that the town do not currently perform site inspections, and no designated staff inspector is on staff. To improve compliance, the committee recommended that permit data be made publicly available online on the town's website each month, and that the MEO be given access to the permit list, which I believe he probably has anyway, to conduct sporadic checks, and coordination between the municipal technician and the MEO was also suggested to develop an enforcement strategy, what we can do to enforce our town's development regulations. I mentioned earlier about moving violations. Due to the lack of response following a recent meeting with the Premier and Minister Dempster and MHA Tripper regarding municipal authority for issuing moving violations, the committee requested that another follow-up letter be drafted to the Premier seeking an update or formal reply. As noted, multiple letters have been written and discussions held with the current and previous Premiers, numerous ministers, the MHA, anyone that would listen on this issue. And I don't know if the CAO can advise whether that letter has been drafted yet. Has there been a draft? There's no draft letter, okay. And any idea when we may be able to expect that?
I don't know, I'm still trying to catch up from being away.
Okay. So that's it anyway for Protective Services Committee, and there's no recommendations, and I move that the committee report be accepted as read.
Thank you, Councillor Pomeroy. Moved by Councillor Pomeroy that we accept the Protective Services Committee as presented, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Discussion? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Pomeroy, can you clarify, in your report you mentioned sending letters to the Premier of which we're still waiting for a reply. Can you provide the number of letters we've done so far?
I guess the CAO might have that information, because I think she probably has a file on that by now.
Not up.
3, 5?
There have been numerous letters, emails, text messages, meetings, I would say up to a dozen, or possibly more, since a year ago November.
And we
that's
haven't
on the
received.
MEO, and we recently met with the Premier, and his exact words, as I got back to you by Wednesday, I think was
Yeah.
that, I'm not sure what Wednesday that was, but, you know, and I know everybody's busy, there's lots of things happening, but, you know, it is an important, you know,
The world don't
important
stand
part
still.
of our puzzle, important
What's that?
piece of our puzzle, right?
It's not our
Mayor,
first meeting.
there's no excuses. We met with the Premier and Minister Dempster a month ago.
Yeah.
They were going to check into it right away. That was a month ago.
Yeah, and we've met with, you know, the Justice Minister, T&I Minister, umpteen people. So, yeah, we don't know, so, yeah. I would say there's been, between us all, probably 10 or 15 attempts easy to get an answer to that situation, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention
And I
all the,
honestly don't feel that another letter requesting yet another response is going to
Yeah.
get any results from them.
I agree. But nevertheless, we will reach out. You never know.
Well, public,
Perhaps we should set up a Zoom meeting with him again, the premier.
we requested that
We
at our
re-
meeting in person,
Yeah, we requested that, so.
so.
Yeah, well, we should reach out and set it up.
No, you gotta have someone to accept to come if you're gonna, if your
Well,
invitees
hound them until they accept.
Okay.
yeah, I keep writing and writing and
Oh,
writing,
yes,
and,
tally up the
you
letters.
know,
I mean, if there's been
they
15.
can't say we never raised the
Okay,
issue.
so just in conversation was, let's try not to it's difficult to listen. You were, continue on?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Anybody else on this discussion on this committee? One of the things, interesting things we've seen, over the last little while, if anybody's been following news-wise, is I guess the emergence now of safety and concern over scooters. So I know one of the Canadian Medical Pediatrician Association, I think, has brought up that the number of increases, and they had statistics there, the number of accidents that are happening now have increased tremendously from a scooter perspective. So, and one of the biggest things is jurisdiction. So hopefully that someone will come up with some information, and if you can check with the director tomorrow morning and see if we can get that PSA, whether it's through Margaret or through Brad or a combination of, to look at trying to get that messaging out. That was talked about at the last committee.
Just,
committee.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I find it really pathetic that like a 3 or 4 year old child can pedal his bike alongside the road with training wheels on and is required to wear a helmet. And yet scooters can buzz on by and there's no requirement. I mean, obviously there's a safety issue.
Yeah.
There's a lapse there somewhere. I mean,
Yeah,
it's got to be addressed.
There is, but again, to put in, from a bylaw perspective, from an enforcement perspective, there's not much sense to say you gotta have it if no one's enforcing it, whether it's the RCMP or whether it's us.
Well, yeah,
or
and
whatever, right?
that's why we say
So,
reach out, right?
Yeah,
to
no,
the
absolutely.
other
So, I mean, there
municipalities.
should be, it should be recognized it's becoming a problem everywhere. So, I mean, there should be something, and some of them go, they're dressed all in dark clothes, no lights, no helmets, doubled up, tripled up in some cases. So it's just not safe. Any other discussion, this committee? No? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the report as presented indicate with aye.
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 Contrary minded? Contrary minded? Passed. All right, municipal services.
Thank you, Your Worship. Municipal Services Committee met as part of the Committee of the Whole on July the 8th. While there was no new business, several updates were provided, as outlined in the reports from the Engineering Division, Public Works, and Environmental Services, Water and Sewer. Routine operations continue in both Public Works and Environmental Services. As per the engineering report, work is ongoing to resolve outstanding deficiencies at the YMCA. At the time of the Committee of the Whole, an updated deficiency list was being compiled and timelines for correction finalized. We've submitted our final claim to ACOA and forwarded the claim to Infrastructure Canada, with a second and final claim to follow once all deficiencies are addressed. I'm not sure if the town engineer can provide an update on the deficiencies, including the landscaping that was discussed at the Committee of the Whole.
Yes, Councillor, I was sent an email to Parmelo. I was expecting it early this week. The engineer looking after for Parmelo, he's on vacation. He said he will have it to me early next week instead. Landscaping has been started. I know the mowing has been started, and to my knowledge, a contractor has been employed by Parmelo, a subcontractor, to complete the landscaping as per the contract.
Okay, thank you. Under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, all contract documents have been signed and required paperwork submitted for lift station upgrades, which are expected to be completed by the end of the month. I assume that's still on track.
That's still on track, Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you. Upgrades have begun at the Loring Drive, Hamilton Road intersection at the lights. Seen a bit of work taking place last week. I haven't seen much activity lately. Can you give us a timeline of when we expect the work
The
completed?
first phase is the concrete works for the poles and the lights and so on. The next phase would be the actual installation of the signals, and after that, the pavement, the asphalt will be coordinated with the paving on Loring Drive and Grenfell Street.
I just mentioned we were advised that resurfacing of Loring Drive and a section of Grenfell Street is expected to be completed by the end of the summer. Just an update, you just provided an update on that, but Grenfell Street is included, correct?
Both Grenfell and Loring Drive will be tendered into one contract, yes.
Okay, and regarding a new firehouse, the Director of Engineering and as well as the Director of Protective Services met with the Provincial Department of Infrastructure, Transportation and Infrastructure to discuss next steps in securing an architectural consultant, and that work remains in progress, so that's an ongoing, I don't know, nothing new to report since?
No, we're working with the Department of TI to get that concept, get that RFP out for an architectural consultant for the fire hall.
And also, during the committee of the whole, we requested an update on the electric bus for this meeting, including system usage, service performance, and the anticipated launch of the on-demand transit system. We also asked whether step-by-step user-friendly instructions will be made available to the public in advance of the on-demand system coming online. And I'm wondering if the CAO can provide an update on that,
Okay,
what we were
so
asked for.
let's accept the report and get that.
Well, this is what
out of
we
the way.
talked about, and this is from the report, because this is exactly what we talked about in committee of the whole.
Yeah.
Same,
But this is
I'm only
municipal
rehashing what was
But
at committee of the whole.
what you've done is you're putting a motion on the floor,
It's not a motion.
but you're going to make a motion from your municipal services committee report?
There's no motion.
No, but what I'm saying is that
Accept.
this is what has happened at the meeting. The update can come after as a result. We'll have to accept that report, and then we can get her to do the
Well, the
updates.
report is what happened at the meeting. This is, I'm talking about
Right.
what I talked about at the meeting. This is
Correct.
nothing new. This is right.
Yeah, correct, but now the update never happened at the meeting.
No, the update,
So-
well, she
so
can
we'll-
provide an
We'll
update
present the report so everybody can accept it, then we'll discuss in
Okay,
terms of right after.
no problem.
So,
So the other concerns about site conditions around clear cutting activities behind 10th Street, White Crescent, whether or not the large stumps would be removed, and if the mature birch trees that could stay there for aesthetic purposes. Also, the committee was advised that expanding the accessible area for wheelchair and walker users at the Broomfield Arena would cost roughly $25,000, and funding options are being explored to support this enhancement and promote accessibility. There are no recommendations this month, and with that, I move that the report be accepted as read.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Pomeroy and the Municipal Services Committee that we accept the report as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
just wondering if we can get an update on the electric bus in terms of usage, how many users we've had since it's come online, and also whether we're in the process of putting out user-friendly instructions online, so in advance of the on-demand system coming, and when can we expect that on-demand system?
So I'm just back from 2 weeks away. I wasn't at committee of the whole. I haven't had a chance to read the minutes yet for council package. I briefly spoke with the superintendent of public works yesterday. We were not tracking users for the bus. We weren't asked to do that at the beginning, so.
Well, we had asked that at committee of the whole if we can have an update of how much uses. We'd like to know. I mean, if people are using it, great. If they're not, we'd like to know.
Well, we know, I mean, people are using it and it's gone up, I know, since we first launched it. I don't know what the numbers are. With respect to the on-demand system, that's still being worked on. We've had some trainings. There's more trainings to take place. We're on track for early August to have that in place. Once the training piece is done, that's when it'll go out to the public so that we'll be able to answer questions that the public may call to inquire on.
So still geared for the first part of August?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
We're probably looking at like the 5th or the 6th, because the 1st is a Friday, then it's the long weekend.
So I know that when when the bus was launched, soft launch, we'd indicated that, you know, using the bus would be free until the end of July. We're extending that into August now?
No, we said until the on-demand, I think it was the first week
Oh,
in
okay,
August.
I think that
It was the first
we
weekend.
anticipated it would be
We
ready.
said early August, we
Yeah.
said the
First of
first
August,
falls on
okay.
a Friday,
Okay,
and then it's the long weekend, so.
yeah.
Any other
That's it
discussion? Oh,
for
okay.
me.
Any other discussion?
I had one,
Yep,
if you
go
could
ahead.
include in. Thanks for mentioning the progress of Loring Drive. Can we have the update of that? You mentioned the 3 phases. Could we put that in a PSA to advise the public as to what's happening?
Yes, Councillor, when I'll update the schedule with the contractors,
Yeah.
and I can have that in the PSA in the
Thank
near
you.
future.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded?
Aye.
Okay, contrary-minded? Passed. All right, community service and recreation. Floor is yours, Councillor Wonders.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Meeting took place at Council Hall on July 8th, 2025. Managers review, reports overview, CSR Director Demers. PBS Towns and Tunes. Towns and Tunes connects 2 communities from different communities, blending their from different countries, blending their unique history, and includes live music, sharing of taste and culture, native chefs that create plates for the concert goers. Producers are planning to visit the town in August and possibly make a presentation to council. Orange Store Canada Games Torch Relay took place on July 10th. As this was not a town-organized event, it was the organizing committee that planned the event in the morning on a weekday, but still deemed it a success, even though numbers were lower than it could have been. Labrador Winter Games Team HVGB will begin recruitment of team coordinator in August. Expo Labrador, this was the most successful expo in years, and the CSR staff did a tremendous job doing their part with regards to usage of our facility and timelines of what's required regarding surface changeover. YMCA overview, the YMCA annual campaign. Strong Kid event took place on July 7th with limited numbers, but those that participated really enjoyed the event. Funding acquired will support the Central Labrador Y Funding Assistance Program. YMCA FA Committee and CA Committee, there was some staffing changes. Long-term membership services manager Albert has left for other opportunities. University students have returned and will help with pool operations. After-day play program continues to be well attended, and summer recreation has recently started. Membership has reduced as expected during summer months, and hours of operation has been reduced to reflect this to save money. Committee has requested that the YMCA provide an update on its 5-year business plan so that it could be presented to the committee meeting at the next committee meeting in September. Age-friendly community action plan. This is the last phase of the plan, has begun. Survey was completed and analyzed. Consultant is preparing a report. Husky Park, challenge regarding contractor. CSR director has reached out to contractor to complete the work. Summer rec staff, all staff have been trained and the program has started. First week was low, had low numbers as expected due to the UK soccer camp. Director Patrick Kennedy has a great plan for the summer. Canada Day, the event was moved indoors to the arena due to forecasted lightning. The event was a tremendous success that was well attended. There was one incident of concern. Fireworks were canceled due to forecast. Figure skating. The Snowflake Figure Skating Club are bidding to host Labrador Regionals. Other user groups have been informed, and the department is working towards a solution regarding scheduling. June was Recreation Month. There were events planned, but attendance was low. Final funding received will be utilized for a July flag football event. Update regarding facilities. Due to the timelines of Expo and subsequent move of Canada Day celebrations indoors and possible Canada Games relay usage, staff did a tremendous job completing all tasks as required. Simcoe has been contacted regarding fall maintenance scheduling and startup requirements. Accessibility. There were questions from Councillor regarding accessibility capabilities. CSR Director met with the Director of Engineering, Dylan. Removing a row of seating will reduce capacity by 22 seats, and nothing can move forward without service personnel and approval, and there's issues especially regarding fire safety. User group scheduling will need to be reviewed. CSR Director is setting up a meeting with all groups regarding special dates, especially understanding that it will be a Lampeter Winter Games year. Playgrounds, maintenance is ongoing, and assessment of work is being dealt with as required. Ball fields, all ball fields are operating, still waiting on contractor for Husky Park work needed. Staffing and training, staff department is anticipating an August departure and will require recruitment of a replacement. All training is complete as per department requirements. Action items, MMC soccer field update. The field has been rolled, lawned, and fertilized. Nothing more can be done until there are significant budgetary commitments to make the field safe for use. And the curling club. Draft agreement has been received from legal and to be sent to the curling club. New business, incident at Canada Day. New business arising from Council of the Whole. Incident at Canada Day. Councilor Madeiras asked if the incident that happened on Canada Day was documented. CSR directed state that there was an internal incident report received. Torch run. Councillor Winters questioned why the torch run is happening in the morning, not at a time when more people can attend. CSR Demir said that this was not a town-sponsored event, and they were doing their own scheduling. Torch bearers were nominated, and one spot was offered to the mayor. Mayor said he only received the final scheduling routing 2 days prior and would send the council as requested. Sports Hall of Fame. Councilor Winters brought forward the idea of having a Sports Hall of Fame to capture memorabilia and sport knowledge from the people who were involved and connected to sports and sporting community. And lastly, Councillor Winters asked if the DFO can provide a financial update on the Wellness Center with respect to loans, mortgages, and operational costs for the next meeting. I have no recommendations, and the next meeting is scheduled for Council of the Whole. Please accept the report as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Winters. So it's moved by Councillor Winters and the Community Service Recreation Department, or committee, sorry, that we accept the report for last month as presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Discussion? Okay, none heard. All those in favor indicate with aye.
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 Okay, contrary-minded? Passed. And just in case you, before we go into approval of checks, if you haven't noticed, there is a big black silhouette behind me and the rest of the council. And a little bit of discussion will happen in a moment or so with a couple of us going to bring it to the table. Anyway, it's some way of having a bit of fun. And I'll go into the next item, approval of checks. And Councillor Brumfield.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship.
Not so much fun.
What?
Not so much fun.
Okay, I guess we'll go right into approving it.
Approval of checks, yeah.
Yeah.
You got the list there?
Yeah. The Finance Administration and Policy Committee recommends Council approve checks totaling $740,469.85 for the month of July 2025.
Okay, moved by Councillor Brumfield and the FAP Committee. The Council approved checks in the amount of $740,469.85. Seconded by?
I'll second that.
Okay, Councillor Compton Hobbs, seconds. Discussion? Councillor,
Well, one question on that, we have a check there on line 56 on the second page, Western Pump Services. I'm going to presume that's for one of the projects we have on the go, right?
yeah, Western Pump's one of our regular, Western Pump's one of our
Yeah.
regular,
Yeah, I believe that might be with the sewage lift station upgrades.
That's what I mean, right?
Which one was that, Councillor?
A check for $407,584.
Western
for
Pump.
Yeah, that would be for Western Pumps. That's the sewage lift station
Yeah,
upgrades.
okay.
The great D12.
Pardon me? D12? Yeah.
I just mentioned to everybody, I just got an email come in saying that we're all very low. Now, Mr. Dillon was noted as being
Okay.
very projected, so, and I noticed it myself when you just leaned forward, so
Yeah.
I know there's not much left, but I just saw the email now. If we can pull our mics a little bit closer, please, and thank you.
Okay.
I can't get mine any closer. The wires are, it's not wireless.
Yeah. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Discussion, any other further discussion? Okay, all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Passed. Okay, we'll go to Councillors' Forum, and I'll let Councillor Compton Hobbs go first. The floor is yours.
All right, I haven't got much to say. We're going to talk about that rally there shortly. That's happening September 11th. Province-wide, they want municipality to support the rally, and I just wanted to say that I fully support this rally. Safety and community safety. September 11th, I think it's scheduled 12 to 2, so I'm hoping, you know, the community will rally behind this rally and get out and show our support for such an important cause happening across the world, really, but very important for Goose Bay right now. That's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Did we want to have a quick discussion about this now? Before we go jump into Councillor's Forum?
About the,
Yeah, I think
About this?
The rally?
Just give
yeah,
you-
I mean,
Yeah, so basically, it's the statement that I have here, I'm assuming it's being run by the Guardians of Recovery Foundation, or just using our facility or our backdrop at the town hall? Is that
What it appears to be.
Okay.
It's just a generic
Municipalities.
email that's gone out.
The province.
supporting, but is it the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay doing this?
no.
No, okay. So just, we've been involved and invited to, I think it's gonna be here at the town hall?
It's what it appears to be.
Yeah, okay. And I'm sure the messaging will come out, but September the 11th, from 12 to 2 p.m. outside our municipal building. And basically it says, "Dear community members, you're invited to take a stand for safety, recovery, and the hope of a safe and sound province-wide community rally. A unified call to restore public safety and demand real, accessible recovery solutions for addiction and mental health in our province. Why attend? To reclaim safety, crime, addiction, and disorders that are rising. We all deserve to feel safe where we live, work, and raise our families." It goes on, it says they're asking us to please share the letter with local leaders, businesses, and neighbors. Together we can make Newfoundland and Labrador safe and sound. And it is sent on behalf of Tina Olivero, and team members of the Safe and Sound Rally, Guardians of Recovery Corporation. And I'm assuming that we'll share the information, and we'll share other information that comes about from it, but I don't have any other details outside of the date, which is September the 11th, and from 12 to 2, and it'll be outside the town hall here. So, anybody else want to speak on this one?
No, I
Councillor Palmer?
certainly support it. I mean, we need to raise a lot of awareness over this issue. It's disheartening to see what's going on in some of our communities in this province, and particularly in our community, and whatever we can do to raise awareness of the issues that we face, social impacts that we're facing. I think it's all positive in a way that we do what we can.
Anybody else? Okay, so we're going to Councilor's Forum. I'll go to Councilor Rumble.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention a couple of positive things that I've heard this evening and that we wanted to touch on. So I am very pleased to see that the Healthy Waters Labrador and the Birch Island Boardwalk folks are still looking at improving on what is already probably our most visited tourist attraction in the Happy Valley Goose Bay area. So the idea that they're still looking to improve and expand, hats off to them. And I think that, you know, it's just another great thing that can bring people to our community, or visitors to our community can take advantage of. Also wanted to give a huge thanks to, I'm guessing, the CSR staff in conjunction with the water and sewer staff. I'm gonna look over, and I'm not sure who's in charge, but there was a recent installation of 2 water faucets at the Lake Melville Dog Park. And for those people who do avail of the dog park, I think it's always been a challenge with rain barrels or, you know, having water, making sure that you have a bottle of water in your vehicle for your dog. So the ability to be able to take your dog up to the park, which is fenced in for a run and now avail of water faucets, just another improvement to another area that recognition deserves to be given to. In the same vein, the municipal yard waste area off of Court Railroad. I use it frequently. I know Councillor Pomeroy does as well. And I say I use it, my husband's sitting at home rolling his eyes saying he uses it, but we use it. It's very, very clean this year. So every time I have gone, I've been very impressed. I don't know if I'm giving kudos to our town staff for keeping it cleaned up or kudos to our residents for making sure that they're using it responsibly. But I think this time last year, we had to sit here and say, listen, if people keep throwing garbage and plastic and whatnot in this area, it's going to be shut down. So this year to go and see that it seems to be used responsibly and right, and it's kept very clean. So thank you to everybody who uses it and uses it the way it's intended, because it is very clean this year. Wanted to give mention to the community markets that are up and running at Kinsman Park. So tomorrow there is a Christmas in July community market that will be held at Kinsman Park from 7 until 8:30. So I know that there are a lot of people that are cabin goers that aren't around early Saturday mornings, or they're home doing their housework. And so this is an evening opportunity for our residents to come out to Kinsman Park and see what some of our local vendors and small business people have available. So I'd encourage everybody to take in that community market. And my final thing I wanted to mention, I was part of the ones who met, part of town council who met with Chris Griffin from Forestry. We had a very eye-opening meeting. It was very enlightening to hear some of what he had said to us. And he also encouraged us, and I think we will encourage our residents, to visit the website firesafe.ca and do a little self-assessment and see, you know, what's going on. We're talking wildfire, but we also need to be, you know, concerned with what's around our properties. None of us wants to be, you know, in a position where a backyard fire starts. So encourage all our residents. I think there'll be a PSA issued on that, but just to take the time to be responsible and take a look around your own property and see what you can do to make sure that we don't come victim to any fires. So that is it for me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Rumbold. This side table, Councillor Winters.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things, especially around our services and the work of Randy, our Director of Engineering. Knowing that D12 is finally getting completed and the amount of money we're spending is finally coming to a closure. And another one is Loring Drive. People are going to be really surprised. I was wondering if in the PSA you can give some sort of a visual of what that will look like with the new safe sidewalks, the lights, the actual what it will end up looking like, because that is going to be a major piece of infrastructure that we desperately needed for such a long time, as it was just so unsafe with the hotels on one side and our services on the other. And anyway, it's like I said, just hats off to Randy for finally bringing that all to fruition. But that'll be it for me today.
Okay, Councillor Palmer.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Again, I'm going to raise the issue about concerns about hydroelectric development on our river and the town's exclusion. I call it exclusion from any meaningful dialogue. There's been a lot of discussion going on about this project, but we haven't had any discussions as a town. And so the Muskrat Falls project was sanctioned in 2012, and at that time, I guess the council at that time was late in term, and there wasn't very much engagement with the 10th council at that time, at least not to any too great extent. And I became a member of council in 2013 after the project was sanctioned. And over the course of as the project was unfolding, and here we are today, I witnessed firsthand how our voices were dismissed, and how recommendations from the Environmental Assessment Panel, especially in relation to social impacts, were largely ignored by both the province and by Nalcor. The result has been devastating for our community. We've been left to shoulder long-term consequences, and we continue to live with the burden of this oversight. Now with new projects coming downstream and promises of billions of dollars to the provincial economy, I can't in good conscience support any development that simply chases profit without ensuring safeguards for our community and ensuring that our social impacts are addressed, and we're in a position to be able to address those. And without any binding guarantees from the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador and Newfoundland Labrador Hydro that clearly outline how this town will be equipped to cope with these impacts, it'll be very difficult, I think, for anybody to support this. Yes, we had preliminary discussions with the Premier, and there was some suggestion that perhaps there be a side table with the town and the province and Newfoundland Labrador Hydro, but we had that short discussion a month ago. Still nothing materialized since then, no more further discussions on it. I think with a provincial election looming, I think we have an opportunity to go a little further and should formally request that written commitments from all provincial parties, political parties, a commitment that they work with our town to ensure we have the capacity and the resources to absorb and manage any future projects that will have impacts on our community. This includes investments in infrastructure and social programs to address the complex impacts that we know we're going to face. Stakes are high, as it was with Muskrat Falls, and our community will be at the center of whatever unfolds next, and we deserve to have a seat at the table, not just an afterthought. I know, like as I mentioned, and I believe the mayor, you were probably on the 10th council, probably not at the end, but when the Muskrat Falls project was sanctioned, you know, there was thinking at the time that there's a new council coming and the project will be starting when the new council gets on stream, and there wasn't a real big push to have the town included, and that didn't get us very far at that time. Glad that Councillor Rumbold mentioned about the yard waste area. I was going to mention that as well. But I had a couple of interesting conversations with people over the last month or so while at the yard waste area. And there were some suggestions made that the town perhaps look at another area in town to put another yard waste area, perhaps on the north side. Because a lot of people work during the week. The only time they have an opportunity to really clean up their yards is on the weekend. And if you're up in Spruce Park and having to go all the way into Incourt Real Road, if you have to make multiple trips, it's, you know, can be pretty taxing for people and don't get their work done. The landfill is no closer, and the landfill is closed on Sundays and Mondays. So I think that's something that I think we should look at some point down the road. I think it's a good suggestion. Also, I mentioned that the dump was closed on Mondays. I did talk to a couple of contractors over the summer. This is a busy time for some contractors, and you know, I know they've expressed concerns in the past that the landfill is closed on Mondays. I know it's open to our refuge hickeys for collect our garbage around the community, and they have access to it. Some suggestions made that perhaps some of the contractors, at least during the summer construction season, have that access as well. The concern was brought to my attention because, as chair of the committee, but the issue was on a Tuesday. A couple of contractors had showed up and really had nowhere to dump because the dump had not been cleared on Monday. So I can't confirm that was the case, but this is what was brought to me on 2 different occasions. Yeah, so we got the silhouette of the Travis Spring Gorilla there, and our Labrador Bigfoot. Just a little bit on that. There's a lot of interesting folklore around it. The tale of Travis Spring Gorilla first appeared in print by American writer Elliot Merrick in 1933. And according to Merrick, one autumn afternoon around 1913, a little girl with the last name Michelin was playing alone in the meadow near Travis Spring, not far from her parents' home or cabin, where she saw a strange man-like creature emerge from the woods. The thing was about 7 feet tall, was covered in hair, had long dangling arms, while its head was topped with a white mane that ran across like a crown, like a helmet on. So there's a lot of interesting history on this, and so I mentioned a few years ago when we were talking about murals in town that, you know, maybe we should collaborate with Healthy Waters Labrador and or somebody in the community to install a permanent silhouette or silhouettes. And the mayor suggested earlier that might be more than one around town, and put up an interpretive panel detailing the local folklore. And I think it would be an interesting addition to our community. I know Councillor Rumble thinks it's kind of eerie looking, and you know, maybe she's scared of it. I don't know, but I think it's something that we can have a bit of fun with, and I think people would enjoy it. I think, you know, from tourism perspective, it wouldn't hurt us as well. I think it'd be a good thing to have. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Pomeroy. Councillor Broomfield, man of all the words.
Well, I'm only going to do one topic, and that's the Auditor General's report on Newfoundland Labrador Health Services.
Okay,
That's
so
not really important.
I'm going to declare conflict because I currently work for Newfoundland
yeah,
Labrador Health
so-
Services. So I'm just going to pass the chair over
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the Deputy Mayor, and I'm going to leave the discussion.
Okay, reading the auditor's report, you come up with some facts. All the numbers are taken directly from that report. For this year, the annual budget for Newfoundland Labrador Health Service is $3.4 billion. We went through an amalgamation period where we had our own hospital base and our own CEOs and that kind of stuff. After that, we ended up with amalgamation. We ended up with 7 agent nursing agreements who signed 15 contracts. And you know, Newfoundland Labrador Health Service line of credit grew from $37 million in 2019 to over $648 million today, which is a significant increase. And she does figure most of it comes from the nursing agencies, right? So after the amalgamation, we ended up with these board of trustees who have an oversight. And one of them is that she reviewed all the minutes of the meetings for the board of trustees and their various committees. And one of them, before the amalgamation, is only 27 of 106 sets of minutes she noted document agency nurses being discussed, which is 25%. And only 16 of 106 committees discussed the nursing, or the board, discussed the nursing vacancies. So there's nursing agencies and there's nursing vacancies we're talking about here, okay? So after the amalgamation, there was an improvement with the agency nurses were discussed at 16 of the 27 minutes, which is 59%. And then the nursing vacancies, there's 15 of 27 discussed, which is 56%. So they are improving it, but it's got a long ways to go yet. Okay, so now in the whole process of all the nursing agencies, the proper procurement process, they failed to follow the procurement of the agency nurses. We had to do that this evening when we were doing our capital works projects and giving the authority for our engineer to do that. Right, there's a procurement process everyone has to follow, including us. They failed to follow that plan. They failed to provide any plan for the procurement agency nurses. They had no specs for the selection and the evaluation criteria. And they also had no open bids, no calls for open bids, right? Now, there is an exception for all this, and that's when there's an emergency. And emergency exemptions are supposed to be very rare. And in this case here, 11 of those 15 contracts they signed were inappropriate, mainly applied retroactively. They were not legitimate. Some were not applied for until an internal audit by the government was imminent, okay? So the formal evaluation of the agencies and the vendor performance before the renewals, there is almost none. and the use of standardized contract templates. They didn't do none of that, okay? So now I'm gonna go back to the nursing usage. The average agency nurse costs $404,486, which is pretty high. And now, they also provided the, for an RN in the province, they provided the collective agreement midpoint, and the nurse is starting out from graduation, which I won't provide, but I mean, they're all there for everyone to read. Okay, under also a part of all of this is the rental agreements with all these nurses they bring in from outside. 53 of these were under the conflict of interest, basically. So that was the agency nurses. Now, under the casual nurses, she noted that 72 nurses were issued an ROE during this whole process. Well, she broke it down. Eastern issued 26. Average was 30. Okay, no, 32. Okay, I got it now. Okay, so then she goes on to discuss some things about there's 37 grievances submitted as a result of all these agency nurses' contract. So I tell you what, of all those grievances, you can guarantee it's going to cost the taxpayers of this province some more money, okay? So how did all this stuff come to light? This came to light as a result of a Global Mail article on February the 16th, 2024 about travel nurses' uses in Newfoundland. So when the nurse RN's got a wing of this one, hold of this one, in March of 2024, the Registered Nurses Union sent a letter to the minister, RE conflict of interest, nursing accommodations. And that's what really caused the auditor then to do this investigation, okay? So after they got these nursing contracts, they still got to manage them, right? There was significant gaps in reporting. They did not compare aging nurses' expenses to the cost of nursing employees, which is important. They did not disclose their agency nurses' spending separately from employee compensation until 2024, which really means that they're using this as a bargaining tool when they negotiate with nurses on the next negotiating rounds. That's going on. Then she had issues with the invoice verification and approval process, and there was inadequate training and thoroughness for employees. The invoice compliance, there was lots of ineligible expenses, lack of supporting documentation. The hourly billing was inaccurate, no invoices, no backups. There was lack of or missing timesheets. They were overcharged nursing services. Their overtime rates were issued, overcharged. And then there was reimbursement for ineligible expenses. Okay? So now we're into 2020, the end of 24 this year. The agency nursing reduction plan, as a result of all of this, they wanted the province or the hospitals come up with a nursing reduction plan, agency nursing reduction plan, okay? So they used the February 2024 data, which was the highest point, and they did not use the monthly average when they did their baseline study to reduce their targets. There were no operational plans completed for Eastern or Labrador-Grenfell Health regions as of December 31st, 2024. And as of December 31st, 2024, there were 276 agency nurses in use, which represented 6% of the nursing workforce in this province. And really, that's about it. Other than that, they are showing other items dealing with Labrador-Grenfell Health accounted for most of the expenses before 2024 or 2022 when the nursing started. Up until that time, prior to 2022 when we had the nursing agencies, there was $3.3 million spent on nursing agencies, and the bulk of that was used in Labrador-Grenfell Health. So I think what we had to be doing here, one of the issues that come up was the Board of Trustees. My understanding was this council used to always have someone on the board. There's no one there anymore from this council. When I spoke last week, or last month, one of the actually a person has mentioned this one to me, that we also always have a representative on the nursing agency board or the hospital board. We don't anymore. And unless we start pushing this, getting a rep on that board, we're not going to get nothing out of this. And I can tell you, I'm speaking from personal experience, as my mother's been sitting in there a year for waiting to get long-term care. Lots of stuff like that. Other people have the exact same issue, right? So we really do need to be pushing this board now that we have these amalgamations and no one really in charge other than the board. And that's it for me. Thank you. And that was the longest one I ever did.
They're making up for all.
Thank you, Councillor Bruford. We can kindly ask the mayor to come back to us.
Yeah.
It was the longest one you've ever done, but valuable for sure. I'll hand that back to you, sir.
I only got 2 more meetings, and I won't say that anymore to you. All right, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. About going second last, there's so much information is being said, all valuable, of course, but I agree with everything that's being said on the floor this evening. Huge recognition to the CSR committee and all the departments, and of course even employees who have participated into the town's Canada Day, some of which have been doing this for 10 years in a row, serving cake and doing everything in the heat. This year, obviously moving into the arena was due to weather, but it was a success, and it was well attended, and it was a great event all over. Canada Games Relay. That was the first time that Canada Games torch relay has ever been in Labrador. And what is normally in either excluded from a certain part of the province, or we are an afterthought, or just delayed in the inclusions of it. Being included in that was a success, and it was a great day all over. So including Labrador was a first in the Canada Games Relay. It was a beautiful day. It was greatly received at Kinsman Park at the end, and it was a lot of fun. Lastly, and again, I'll be short. I'll take your role this time. Sincerest condolences to Chris Shepard's family. It's a devastating loss to his family, and he was well respected and well loved. So thinking of them during this difficult time. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I got a few things here in no particular order, but it's some stuff that's come up that I just want to make sure the community is aware of. Yeah, the Orange Door Canada Games Relay. I remember watching, well, I actually watched some tape at the interview that Mr. Gowdy, Joe Gowdy, had with them, and you know, to the Deputy Mayor's point, that it's the first time that this has been brought to our province, and it was important. From my perspective, I was very proud to be involved in the torch relay, and from a more personal note, I was even prouder to have received the torch from my daughter and carried into Kinsman Park. And I also will say that the daughter of the Deputy Mayor was as well attended the torch relay, and she was one of the torch bearers. And the torch bearer process, you had to be nominated from community, and it was a, you know, bit of a moving event, but was really proud to. I was around for the Winter Games, the Olympic nighttime Winter Games torch relay through our community, and I still go back, and after saying it 20 times, the torch is downstairs, and I think it should be proudly displayed up here somewhere, or maybe in a new space from a Hall of Fame perspective. So it was an incredible event. Unfortunately, the time wasn't ideal for the community, a working community, but it was a great time had by all, and I was so glad to have participated in it. I'd like to say goodbye to Colonel Liam Sajan and his family, who left Goose Bay just a short time ago. Liam was a good friend of our community. He was always there to reach out when assistance was required. He was, you know, a good leader. The wing was well versed into most everything that went on in our community. So I wish him and his family good luck and on their next challenge in Winnipeg. And he did say that he's not sure if he's going to be able to get away from the flies, but Winnipeg is his next home. So glad. And on the other side of that, we're pleased to welcome Lieutenant Colonel William Brake back to Goose Bay, not with his family, because his family, when he was only 6 or 7, I think he lived here, but his family is with him now as the new wing commander, and we're looking forward to continuing that relationship from a community perspective with the wing and the 5-wing team as an important part of our community and an important community partner. Saying as well goodbyes to Melanie Waugh with the Association of New Canadians. Melanie's moving on as her partner is in the Canadian military, and it's time for transfer season, so they're heading to Montreal. Melanie's done some great work with the Association of New Canadians office and building that office here in town and helping out a lot of families, and some personal testimony that I've talked to many folks that spoke very highly of Melanie and the programs that they offer. So that was it. Just a note, coming up in August, there's going to be a car show visiting town, and it's in cooperation with Shriners along with Live Motors. There's a group of old car buffs, I guess, that will be driving their cars up and displaying them for an afternoon here. Further details will follow. I think it's August 14th, but I'm not 100% sure. But look forward to that, especially for something new. You know, the regular, I think it's Wednesdays in St. John's, they have the A&W and the old cars show up, and there's always a good evening. So that's coming up. Want to send a huge shout out to Brad, our fire chief, and the volunteer firefighters who battled the fire on Juniper Street. You know, I was up there firsthand to watch what the guys had to go through. It was hot, and you know, pardon the pun, it was really hot, temperature-wise, and to see these guys, you know, just don their breathing apparatuses and pop into a burning building when it's 30 degrees outdoors is tremendous. Well-oiled machine. We're very lucky that we never had the winds that we had a couple of days before that. You know, forestry was there. All the first responders were there, and we were lucky that there was nobody hurt, and there was some damage to the buildings that can be replaced, but there was no forest fire or anything that resulted in that from that one. I just want to bring back up the fact that, you know, that we've as a community, we've been singing to everybody that we can about the safety in the community and things like that. We have another group here now for September the 11th who's going to bring some things to light with the Guardians of Recovery Foundation and their rally. I encourage everybody to attend, voice your concerns, advocate for what you want and what you feel in the community. It's important. We haven't, as a result of the meetings that we've had with the Premier and Minister Dempster and MHA Trimper, we haven't received any feedback or any answers to our questions in terms of our moving violations for our municipal enforcement officer and other concerns that we had. So we're looking forward to those responses. Hopefully we'll get them in shorter order. I had the privilege to participate with Nunatuva Community Council and their youth action program. And there were some folks that were interested in governance, which was really interesting at such a young age. I entertained them here at the council chambers, went over our process and what, you know, councillor and mayor roles and, you know, what they'd like to do. 3 very well-spoken and really engaged young people, and I have no hesitation that the communities that they're from are going to be in for some good leadership down the road. But it was great, and I think that the concept of that youth action program that they had was tremendous, and they did a lot around town. At the same time, we hosted some junior Canadian Rangers in town doing their training, so that's great, because anytime we can bring folks to town, it's, you know, it's good to show our town off, but it also is an opportunity for economic development, which is great. The Travispan gorilla or Bigfoot or whatever, it's a bit of fun around our town, but what an incredible, almost 100-year story that, you know, was first brought up in 1913, and it would be really interesting to get an expert's opinion and you know, some stories about what it was and this and that. But I encourage folks just to have fun. This one showed up on the town lawn Sunday night. Not sure if he'll stay there or she'll stay there or whichever, but I encourage everybody to, pardon me?
Unless you bars them inside.
Oh, yes, yeah, unless we lock the doors. But I encourage everybody to have a bit of fun with it, take some pictures, spread it around, Facebook it, Instagram it, TikTok it, do whatever you want. But I think that's an excellent opportunity for us as a community to latch on to something that's a bit of a fun, good news story. And we've talked lots about, you know, the love places, the letters that are around, and we talked about murals, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. But maybe this is another option just to have some fun. Not sure about the boardwalk, because I wouldn't want to be walking to the boardwalk some evening and have something like that show up on the boardwalk. But anyway,
Moving one.
yeah, there's some bigger furry ones down there now at times. So that, yeah, it's a bit of fun, and I will give a kudos to when I reached out and was having a chat with Councillor Pomeroy in a magazine that he published a while ago. There's a big story. So I don't know if, as a bit of fun, we could take some of that maybe and repost it on our social media, or if anybody has any stories or actual sightings. Rumor has it that there might have been a former councillor that is well involved in some stories about this particular subject. So if anybody has any, feel free to email the town or call the town and reach out to someone and get it to us. Last thing is that we're heading down. This is our 81st meeting of what will probably be around 85 public meetings. We've got two meetings, I guess, after this to go. So municipal elections are around the corner. The dates will come out, when will nominations?
September 11th.
Okay, so around September the 11th, there will be the call for nominations that will come out for the upcoming municipal councils. I know M&L is now putting a program in place to start to advocating for people. And no matter what walk of life you come from or what you do or whatever, everybody has something to offer, and that's what kind of makes councils good. So consider it for sure. And hearing lots of names, which is great. I just hope that that comes into fruition and people have good selections to choose from. And outside of that, that is it from me. Anybody from that side of the table? Margaret, you're good? You, sir, are good? Yeah. Excellent. And Mr. Dillon?
Good, thank you, Mayor.
CAO?
Nothing for the public portion.
Okay. And I just wanted to go back to, I was going to say, did you file your Access E1? Oh, sorry, Councillor, oh no, okay, I thought you said something. I was going to ask you if you filed your Access E11 about the landfill, the other place down there.
No.
One of the suggestions around the dump.
Complaint, it was
Oh, yeah, no. One of the suggestions, though, is it possible for us to look at maybe opening the dump a couple of extra days during the summer cleanup, maybe just so if somebody misses, because I know I've had a lot of people, not a lot of people, but several people that missed the cleanup, but of course their only day off really is Saturday, Sunday. Saturday they're busy and don't have the opportunity. But is it possible maybe to look at a Sunday, Monday,
I'd like to see Monday.
or something?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You know, and I know staffing was our issue before, but is that something that we can
It still is.
look at? Okay, yeah. But maybe through the summer, you know, with nice weather and that kind of deal, is it possible to look at maybe opening up a couple extra days? Yeah, something, just even if it was for, you know, a weekend and then maybe 2 weekends or
Even every
once a
second
month or
week
something or
right,
whatever,
once
right?
a month or something.
Anyway, it'll be better and help people out. So yeah, so tag the town council in any pictures you're taking with our friend behind us here, or there's various numbers around. And of course, everybody's speculating on who's doing it, but I have no idea. Anyway, with that, if there's nothing to bring to the table, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Made by Councillor Compton Hobbs and seconded by Councillor Rumbold. All those in favour indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Meeting's adjourned. We need 2 seconds.